I protect that which matters most.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on this blue planet. I am Seraph GL, and this is that which matters most. Today is, let me see exactly, so I'll make sure. Today is the 12th of November, 2020. It's 9:19 a.m. Central Time here in the Twin Cities. For the longest time, I called it Ground Zero because this is where the narrative of George Floyd began. It's like the beginning of the awakening. Sacrifice, for the most part, in this existence that we live in has always equaled something has to die. It just is. Now, for me, it's very simple. I have spent a majority of my adult life seeking truth. And along that path, I have found that truth is elusive because the majority of us aren't looking for it. B, those that are looking for it are looking, it's kind of like the old country song, looking for love in all the wrong places. You can be looking for something, but because the map has been designed for you to stay lost, you never find what you're looking for. You find glimpses, and again, we're living in a dispensation, if you will, where mankind knows very little about its own origins, knows very little, period, if you just want to be honest about it, because how could we? Even those who seek knowledge, who seek the truth, keep running into dead ends and mazes and labyrinths that lead you to death. And then when you die, as we all have done previously, when you die, you go into this thing and then you see this light. And behind that light are your friends and your relatives who've gone before you. Come on, man, come to the light. And what that light does is basically takes you into a portal of forgetfulness, and everything that you acquired is gone. You have to start all over again. That's the matrix, folks. And while you're here trying to accrue knowledge, as well as those who are here trying to accrue wealth and power and all the other bicameral egoic things that they set up for us, they use us like batteries. Now, it's not like in The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, where you've got, a guy hooked up to something behind his head laying in a plasma fluid, his energy being literally used as power. I don't believe that. But here's what I do know. Those who control this matrix are controlling it using our energetic sequences. And mainly, it's kind of like the difference between leaded gasoline and nitrous. Nitrous moves you faster and with more power because it's based because the nitrous that they use with us that works the best for them is fear and anger. Love, forgiveness, all of those kind of energies, too slow for them. Now their whole energy level is slow, but for them to feed, we have to bleed. Let me say that again. For them to feed, we have to bleed. It's kind of like a vampire. Now, very similar to the vampire legacy is a vampire cannot enter your home without you opening the door or the window. You have to invite them in for them to feed on you. And once you invite them in, then everything else is easy. They just got to figure out how to get you to open that door. Well, guess what, folks? We've been opening that door for centuries. Literal centuries. Hundreds of years, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. Mankind has been opening that door. Why am I talking about all of this right now? Simple, guys. Simple. First of all, I want to say thank you to the people at Fringe TV and Roku for allowing me to have a channel that can reach literal millions of people. Now, will they watch? I don't know. I'm not really doing this for the ego stroke. I'm a professional musician. Google search G sharp, all capital letters. Google search G sharp. Matter of fact, let me do this. That's me. Who is G sharp? Who is gsharp.com? That's me. That guy right there. Musician, singer, performer, all around great musician. I'm a Grammy Award winning songwriter. I'm a Grammy Award winning singer, songwriter, performer, the whole deal. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. Yeah, it's Robert Plant. Yep, that's the guys from the Revolution. I've done a lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. Larry Graham, Apollonia. I sang "Take Me With You" at Apollonia. Okay, so it's easy for me to feel like I'm just, you can't tell me nothing, right? However, what I need you to understand is this: all of that, all of that is the show. It's a show, guys. It's all a show. I say that because who I am, that guy. That's who I am. That's who I am. I am Seraph GL. And I protect that which matters most. Where did I get that from? I got that from the Matrix. But I didn't get it. My mentor and brother gave me the name Seraph. I picked the title of nobility, L. And G period stands for everything people know me as. Everything that people know me as. So that way, when they call me by my given name by my parents, when they call me G sharp, when they call me G, when they call me all of that, they're still in favor because G period stands for all of that. So to say I've done some cool stuff in my life, including toured with Prince, shot basketball with Prince, ate pancakes with Prince. I've done some cool stuff. I've toured with Bonnie Raitt, Jimmy Vaughn, B.B. King, Buddy Guy. All of that is beautiful. Won a Grammy with Jimmy Vaughn, 2000, 2001, on his Do You Get the Blues album. I wrote 4 or 5 of those songs. So that's that part of my ego that needs to be stroked. I'm never going to tell you I'm above all of that. No, no, I'm just a regular dude. Matter of fact, because I'm doing this on Fringe TV, I can't swear. I love swearing. Swearing just rolls off my lips so well, and so I just love it. But not today. Okay, so here, and I just wanted to set up so you know who I am and where I've been. And because I toured the world, been around the world 2 times, before I ever met a celebrity, I had already lived in Singapore, Malaysia. I'd already done all these things. Been to Japan a couple of times, just being in a regular local band, but we were so good. So to clarify, I am that I am. All that I've experienced has made me who I am today. But in the last year, 6 months to a year, I've come across some information from some people who I believe have at least a version of the truth. Yes, they have some what I would call version of the truth, and I'm going to go with their version. Why? Because their version fits me. It resonates with my energy field, if you will. And the main component of their viewpoint is based on a few things, and I'm going to touch on them right now, especially today. Because right now in the United States of America, federal politics is playing out exactly as it should. The bicameral citizenry have been fighting for 4 years, if not longer. I'm going to say going all the way back to JFK. They have been fighting tooth and nail. The everyday citizen, you, have been fighting tooth and nail to put in place the person you want to call your leader. Me personally, I don't need one. However, there's a huge responsibility when you say, I want to lead myself. I want to be self-responsible. In other words, the ability to respond myself. Okay? I am seeking the ability to respond myself, which in a lot of cases takes some training. Let me give you an example. The people in this country who were here before the European even left the caves, before the Mongols came over the Bering Strait and came down into the Southwest, the people who they now call Indians, we were here in the Americas. There were many different ethnic groups of us here, because all the ones in the southern areas of America that you now call South America and Central America look different than me. But they were still me. The people in North America, as you call it now, from the top of Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico, a lot of them look like me from the Mississippi River south and from the Mississippi River east and slightly west. They look like me. But the people who live in this country that was formed out of these particular areas that they call the United States of America, it did not begin as the United States of America. It was a constitutional republic. Where do you think that Constitution came from? You think a few Europeans showed up over here and came up with it? No. See, when you study the little bit of truth that's given to us, because most of the stuff that we now call history is just slight touching on, it's just slightly touches on the realities of this planet that we live on. 99% of the people on this planet have never heard the word Anunnaki, have never heard the name Enki. So how are you going to go to any level of, you can't. But in the same respect, the egoic mind, not the heart mind, but the egoic mind tells you don't have to listen to me. You don't have, and you don't. You really do not have to listen to me, because who am I? I know who I say I am, but who am I? But in that same energy, keep that same energy. When you get up and go out of your house and you put a sign in your yard, or you go out of your house and you carry a big old flag, or you take a picture and you hug it and you call it the savior, right, of an individual you've never met. Keep that same energy. However, it's too late. You don't need to anymore, because the system that the egoic, bicameral, corrupted souls have used against us for thousands of years is over. The monetary system is over. Do not buy into anything referencing a financial reset. That's nonsense. Monetary revaluation, good. Financial reset, bad. All of it, us. We are creating it all, and we have to fix it all. But guess what? There are those who have done enough work to make sure that all of the evil systems, the artificial matrix, all of this is already dead, folks. What you're watching right now is a dog and pony show. And you've been watching that dog and pony show for many, 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 many years and didn't even know it was nonsense. My sources tell me, my intel gives me, that unless I'm terribly wrong and all this intel is nonsense, and you'll know, like I said, today is what again? Today is the 12th of November, 2020, in the middle of all of the drama and the nonsense, right smack dab in the middle of it. If you thought the 2000 election was nonsense, was prefabricated, was rigged, fraudulent, oh my goodness, what do you think you're looking at right now? But let me ask you, if somebody was choking you, somebody that you thought you knew came into your room, like somebody came into my office right now and started choking me, that I knew, at first you wouldn't fight so hard. But when would you fight the hardest? And when would you do the craziest stuff and kick and crazy, screaming, all kind of nonsense? Right when you think you're going to die. Guess what, folks? It's already dead. The system that you've come to know and love is already gone. You are keeping it alive with your energy. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I said it on my Facebook page, Seraph GL. I'll show you all of that stuff shortly. I said it on my Facebook page. I'll read it. How about that? I'll read it so there'll be no question as to whether or not I'm telling you the truth. An hour ago, this morning, I posted, Japan has a maglev train that for 50 years hasn't had one accident and travels over 200 miles an hour. And that's old technology. I know that because I've been on the bullet train in Japan. Forget politics. I didn't say forget, but yeah, 5D is here, folks. It's already here. If you're understanding what I'm saying, you're in that 5D looking into the 3D. That's what you should do. Be an observer and commentator of the show. Don't involve yourself in it because you can't, because it's not for you. It's not about you. Here's something else I posted. When did I post this? 2 hours ago. Here's a thought. What if everything we think is real is all a show? Well, the movie is over. Don't you think it's time to leave the theater and go home? And home is wherever you are, folks. Home is where the heart is. You ever heard that before? We're not going anywhere. There won't be anybody raptured. Not going anywhere. This is your home. This earth is where you are until you go somewhere else. And then that's your home. Have you ever moved? Do you still think the old house is your home? Okay. Here's another thought. 11 hours ago, last night. Here's a thought. Now, this is a deep one, folks, so pay close attention. Here's a thought. If within the next few months or weeks, again, this was a few hours ago, if within the next few months or weeks, we all, not a few of us, not just the people in the United States, okay, we all become healthy. I'm talking ultimate, not, I feel okay. I'm talking healthy, vibrant health. We all, every human being, every member of mankind on this planet become healthy, wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, wise for a change, and free. Free. Not liberated, but free. If within the next few months on the long end, or weeks on the short end, or days on the even shorter end, we all finally become healthy, wealthy, wise, and free. Does it matter who's in DC? I can go even further. Would DC even continue to exist? That's the question to ask yourself. Would it even exist? Now, I had hoped that the drama of the reality TV show known as United States Presidential Election Results would be over by Friday. But it wasn't. I made a video on November 2nd. I put it on Facebook, Instagram, all of it, saying basically what I'm saying now. I'm just expanding on what I said then. Just expanding on it. Now listen to this, guys. I posted this on the 9th of November. What's the first thing you do when you enter a dark space? You turn on a source of light, right? Well, do the same thing when dark forces or dark-minded people enter your space. Be the source of light. In other words, shine on in the face of darkness, negativity. And nothing runs away faster than darkness when you turn on your light. We are light, ladies and gentlemen. We are light and love. So when you transition out of the body, why would you go to a light when you are light? That's the trick, folks. That's the trick. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to know anything. But here's what I do believe. Sam Cooke wrote a song called A Change Is Gonna Come. And in that song, he was referring to the change from evil, just blatantly evil treatment of Moors in the United States, erroneously known as Negroes, Blacks, African Americans, and coloreds. Our treatment is going to change, and a change is going to come. That was that song. I stand on this. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is coming because that change is here right now. Right now, people. It's here. It's not coming. It's not on the way. It's not around the corner. It's not rounding the bend. It's here. Are you ready? Of course not. No, you're not ready. I'm not ready. Are you ready to have an existence unlike anything you've ever seen in your entire existence on this planet? Are you ready for that? No, of course not. Be honest. Let me give you some examples. What if? What if? Tell you what, I'm gonna take a little break. And I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna give you guys some what ifs. Some what ifs. Get yourself ready. It's about to go down. There's a new thing coming. A new sound drumming. I'll be back in a second. I am Seraph GL. This is that which matters most.
Hi, my name is John Wilker. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I've run a business for 22 years here in Birmingham. And so I'm at a point where I'm teaching other people how to do it because it's been a life-changing type of business. And I want to give you just 10 quick points about it, so you kind of have an overview of what I'm talking about and why I've done it for so long. First of all, this has nothing to do with the internet. It doesn't have anything to do with Amazon drop shipping or MLM or anything like that probably you've been inundated with. Okay, number two, I do it solo. I don't need any employees, no 1099s, nothing. It's just me. Okay. Number three, I don't have any overhead. Don't have a warehouse. Don't have a lease. Don't have to hold on onto any inventory. And number four, which bleeds into that, I get 95% of my inventory that I don't even have to hold for free. For free. And then that bleeds into the next point. It's reoccurring weekly revenue from this inventory that I'm speaking of over and over and over. And then on top of that, the next point is it's multiple streams of revenue repeating itself week after week after week. It's not labor. There's no labor involved. You got to get out there and hustle, of course. Yeah. But I'm going to show you where to go and what to say, how to set it all up. It's a sweet deal. Okay. A couple other things I want to tell you. It's massive and it's invisible. And like I'm saying, nobody sees it. And it's underserved. And that's why I've been doing it for 22 years. It's been a good life. And I want to teach other people how to do the same thing. So if this interests you, I know this is not all the information that you need to know to even know what I'm talking about. I get it. If it attracts you, this part of it, go to the next step. Just get some more information. All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay, we're back. And again, folks, I'd like to thank again the people at Fringe TV for giving me a channel, giving me a place to sit, place to talk, place to think, place to learn. I'm going to have a lot of really cool guests, so just stick around, keep looking, keep checking. Never know what you might see, never know what you might find. Here's my social media, by the way. That which matters most, Sergio. This was the show I had on radio. That every Sunday, doesn't matter. You'll see it all on Fringe TV if you have Roku or you have a smart TV. My blog, that which matters most.me. My blog, blog.sergio. Podcast, podcast.sergio. YouTube, yt.sergio. Facebook, fb.sergio. Instagram, ig.sergio. Twitter, tw.sergio. My Patreon, patreon.com/ you guessed it, Seraph. Now, that's what if you checked your bank account? Certainly there won't be any banks. Pretty soon there won't be any banks. No need for any centralized area where your wealth can be stored or taken. What if you checked your bank account 2 months from now, and not only is that little bit of money that you had in there gone, but now you've got $1.5 trillion in your bank account. Not million with an M, not billion with a B, trillion with a T. What do? You need to start thinking about that. What if the $1 trillion that you have in your account is no longer the Federal Reserve note created by the Federal Reserve, which is a feudal, family-owned banking cartel, where your dollars are created out of thin air and interest paid on those dollars is what you pay in federal income taxes. Your federal income taxes don't build nothing, don't create nothing. They just go towards the debt accrued by the fictional United States Treasury. I could go into that. I'll do a whole show on that. But what if that $1 trillion is no longer based on the Federal Reserve note, but based on what they could call, I'm going to call it rainbow currency. In other words, currency created by the United States government, the true de jure United States government. Not de facto. Look up the words, folks. The true de jure government, backed by the full faith and credit of the United States Republic, called rainbow currency, backed by gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Then you may ask, well, where are you going to get all that gold from? Don't worry about that. That's already been taken care of. That $1 trillion now is U.S. rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Now, if you know anything about the gold standard from 1913, when the dollar was backed by gold and silver, food price inflation. In 1913, bread cost an average of 5.6 cents per pound. Today, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average loaf costs $1.42 per pound. Milk went from 35.6 cents a gallon in 1913 to $3.53 in 2013, a roughly tenfold increase. Eggs were 37 cents per dozen in 1913 and now average almost $2 a dozen. What does that tell you? I don't know what it tells you, but it tells me that prices didn't go up because eggs were different now. Matter of fact, a dozen eggs in 1913 were real eggs. They weren't homogenized and pasteurized, all the food value taken out of them. So you're not just chewing on something yellow. Back then, you ate an actual egg. And if you had chickens in your yard, which you probably did in 1913 if you didn't live in the city, you paid even less for eggs. The egg is no different, folks. It's still a chicken embryo. Why is the price different? Because the dollar's value dropped immediately after 1913 and have been dropping ever since. Because the more you make of something, the less value it has. But why did they do that in the first place? Because you can't fund big, giant worldwide war on the little bit of money supply that we had then. You can't do that, right? Understand what we're dealing with, folks. We're dealing with an artificial, inorganic matrix that we've been in for centuries. Centuries. And every now and then, we'll get a glimpse of the reality. Every now and then, we'll get a glimpse of reality. It's like that hiccup in the Matrix where he walks by the mirror and sees the cat go by twice. It's like that every now and then you'll have a deja vu moment, right? You've had those, right? I mean, that's just is what it is, folks. But again, what if that $1 trillion now goes the same distance that it would have gone in 1913? Imagine if you were a millionaire in 1913 when everything was so much cheaper. You could buy a house for 50 grand. No, you could buy a mansion almost for 50 grand. I was just watching Queen's Gambit. Beautiful show. I love it. Means a lot in a lot of different ways. She bought her house that she grew up in from her wicked adopted father for $7,500. And that was in the 60s. So imagine how far $1 trillion would go if you had $1 trillion in 1960. There didn't even exist a trillionaire in 1960. But think about this. The richest human being on the planet Earth in 1960 wishes they had all of the creature comforts of a person in 2020 who lives in what you would call poverty. We've come a long way, folks, but we've come a long way in spite of those who seek to keep us enslaved. And the slavery is not physical, it's in your mind. Sly Stone wrote a song called Stand, and one of the lyrics in that song I love with all my heart. It goes like this: stand, don't you know that you are free? Well, at least in your mind, if you want to be. Do you see how deep that is? We've been kept in a matrix of the mind. Go and watch the Matrix again and pay attention. Watch this again on Fringe TV, and then go watch the Matrix. And see, doesn't it stuff start jumping off the page for you? Kind of like, where's Waldo? All of a sudden, Waldo just shows up, right? But again, what do? Suddenly you got $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Do you call everybody and tell them? No, that wouldn't be smart. Do you start getting a bunch of money going out in the corner, handing it out? No, you'd be dead in 2 hours. Because the bicameral, look up the word bicameral, the bicameral existence, the egoic mind, not the heart mind, causes some people to say, well, he has it and I don't, let me go get it. So they take it from you. The people who you call rich right now are more messed up in the head than you are. Because the moment they get it, they're worried about losing it. So what do? They do everything they can to keep you from getting it because they believe there's a shortage of something. If you have put in your mind that there's somebody in Washington, D.C. who cares about you, you are already gone. You've already lost the fight. I'm just keeping it 100. Let me go further. What if you found out, you heard that there was a device that you could go to that's in a clinical setting? Anybody ever been in an MRI machine? I've been in one a few times. Imagine a device that kind of looks like an MRI machine, okay? But it's open, glass encased, about 9 feet long. And before you can lie in it, you have a preliminary consultation. And that consultation takes about an hour. Matter of fact, the pre and post procedure consultation will probably take way longer than the actual procedure. But you go into this consultation and the basic things are going to happen regardless, but they ask you questions about what you would like to change. And one of those questions consists of questions like this: how old do you believe you were when you were at the top of your game? How old were you when you felt your best? How old would you like to look? Because once you go in this chamber, the celestial chamber, you're going to be that age, that physical form, as long as you choose to stay in the body. And you can choose right now how long you want to stay in this body. 50 more years, 5 more years, 500 more years, 500 million more years, or just infinitely. Do you want your hair back? Okay. Do you like what your hair looked like when you had hair? I've got gray hair in my beard. Do I like it? I kind of like it now, but do I want it forever? Nope. So I want it to be black again. So I could say, I want my hair to be black. I want all of the wrinkles that have come into my skin since my 25th or 35th birthday gone. I want my skin to be as it was when I was young. I don't want any wrinkles. I want the muscle tone in my body to come back. I'm not too shabby right now, but I don't want to be this forever. I want to be 35, 40 forever. Because for me, that was when I felt ultimately the number one stana, right? That's when I felt like I looked my best, felt my best, my voice was better. I'm still a good singer, but I can't hit some of the notes I used to hit. I used to could sing Reasons by Earth, Wind, and Fire flawless. Now I have to struggle through it. I may not sing again for 3 days, okay? But what if that was the pre-consult? You go in, you find out, do you want to be taller? Be careful. Because remember, anything you change, your body has to get accustomed to. Your brain has to get accustomed to that change. I have what people would call small hands, especially for a man 6'2" tall. I have what people would call small feet. I wear a 9.5, 10 on a good day, a 10. And I'm 6'2" tall. So would I want my hands and feet to be bigger? Well, no. Why? Because I would have to learn how to re-walk. I have to learn how to walk again. Your foot is your foot. Your hand is your hand. I would have to learn how to use my hands differently if suddenly my fingers were longer or the pad was shorter or anything. I would have to relearn how to use my hands because I've been using these fingers and thumbs my whole life. So people think they want to change stuff and they really don't. A woman goes in, do you want bigger boobs? Not fake ones, but yours, just bigger. Well, yes. How do you know? And why? Okay. I want to be skinny. Well, define that. Say a guy goes in, he weighs 350 pounds. He's just big. He's 5'6" and weighs 350 pounds. Okay. He wants to be taller and he wants to weigh 180. Imagine the change that he'd have to go through having been used to walking and dealing with that size. But that's something he would be willing to work through. But changing the size of your hands and your feet, that's a hard one. For no other reason than you just don't like the way they were when people thought that was relevant. See, that's why you have to have the pre-consult. Lay down, flip the switch, holographic imagery comes up, cures anything physical you ever had and gets rid of the knowledge of it if you want. Makes your body ultimately energetically sound, where you can never get any illness, disease, virus, none of that, over forever. Ultimate vitality and vibrant health forever, as long as you choose to be in this body. Whatever year you choose, you stay that age physically forever. It's like getting bitten by a vampire. Okay? I love vampire movies. But it's like being bitten by a vampire when you're 35 and you stay 35 forever. The only difference is you don't go crazy because you're the only person living that long, everybody else dying around you. Everybody gets that option. Some people will say, I just want to be healthy for the next 5 years and I want to go on. I've been on this earth too long. Somebody 95, 100 years old, I want to go back to 6 years old. Well, who's going to take care of you? Okay, got to think it through, right? But that's what the pre-consult is for. After you get out and you sit up off that table and you look in that mirror and suddenly Seraph GL is 35 again. That's a shock. Then you have to go through a consult afterwards, especially if your loved ones don't know you're going to do this. Because you're going to show up at the house and your current girlfriend, wife, significant other, boyfriend, whatever, may not like you when you were that young. So you have to be careful. All right. But what if that's the option? What if within the next year, that is your option? Let me give you another what if. And this is a really big one too. Because first of all, immortality is not out of the question. It's not. Other sentient beings on other planets and some who live here now have never died and never will. We're just getting the technology now. Unless I'm terribly wrong, and I hope I'm not. Here's another one. What if there was a device about this big, right? And it's called a replicator. And anything you program in it materializes. Not holographically, but physically in your existence right now. I'm a bass fisherman. I love fishing. I don't have a boat. I don't even have a car. We have one vehicle in our house. I don't need a car. I work from home. Sometimes I need to go somewhere. I just wait and get the car and go and do what I got to do. I don't need one. Waste of money to sit in the driveway all day, every day. But if I had a bass boat, I would need a truck to pull it. All right. I paid $100 to Elon Musk for the Cybertruck. 2022 is supposed to be coming out. Trust me, it ain't gonna be no 2022. First of all, electric vehicles are so old technology. We've had the ability to be all electric for about since 1965. The egoic External, authoritative nonsense has kept us in the past. We're still talking about internal combustion engines and oil. You know how stupid that is? But what if there was a device that everybody had access to in their home? And anything you punch in it is yours. You just punch it in. It's like a genie in a bottle. You punch it in and it creates itself. From punching in what you want for dinner tonight, kind of like George Jetson, it just comes out, to punching in the house on the land with the lake and the whole thing that you want, and it creates it. And all you got to do is go there, it's yours. Then why do you need money? You don't. You see how this is all going to happen? And it's already here. It's like waiting for Christmas, and all of a sudden it's December 25th at 6 a.m. You finally have it. Now you don't know what to do. I'm telling you guys, get ready. Prince used to say all the time, may you live to see the dawn. Well, rejoice. You have lived to see the dawn. I knew Prince personally. We hung out a lot. I miss him. I didn't see him every day. No, I didn't even see him once a month. But just like my true best friend, Cedric Hawkins, I could see Cedric every 6 years and we would jump right back on place. That's the way Prince and I were. I miss him. He was crazy as a sprayed roach, but I loved him because he never did anything against me personally. He did a lot for me, but he never did anything against me personally. That's the way I view politics. There is nobody in that 10-mile square deviant area known as Washington, D.C. that's ever done anything for or against me my entire 60 years of existence on this planet. And they haven't done anything for or against you either. And if you really tell the truth, get out of your ego and get into your heart mind and say, how does any of that matter to me? Forget Donald Trump, man. Anybody that watched television or lived in New York knows who he is. But if you're gonna put an end to a reality TV show, if you're gonna put an end to a clown circus, who better to be the last clown in the circus? Take that for however you choose to take it. And if you're in love with him and you're a part of his cult following, don't even forget about it. You don't even realize why you are that. If you're all about getting rid of him because you think blah, 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 you don't even know why you feel that way. You just feel that way because of the way he acts as a person. And second of all, you don't even know if he's even still alive. The person you've seen on television, I met him personally, but that was years ago. That person could have died 20 years ago and you wouldn't even know it. The show is over. Don't you think it's time to go home? Don't you think it's time to go home? When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. You ever heard that line before? That was from a song in a movie called The Wiz with Michael Jackson and as the Scarecrow. Diana Ross as um, Dorothy. Get ready, folks. Mankind is on the verge of going there. We are already there, folks. There's nowhere to go now. We are there. Prince used to say all the time, may you live to see the dawn. Rejoice, brothers and sisters. You have lived to see the dawn. I'd like to thank again Fringe TV for this opportunity. I am Seraph GL. This is all my social media if you're interested. And again, focus on where we are, not where we've been. Take your mind off of politics. It's got nothing to do with you. Take your mind off of it. It's got nothing to do with you. because the truth has already been revealed. The reality has already been put in place. The financial structure has already been levied. The technology is already in play. Rejoice, for you have lived to see the dawn. Thank your ancestors for taking you this far. I am Seraph GL, and this is that which matters most, and is always imparted. Peace.
I protect that which matters most.